pretty disgusting.
Life is crumbling behind the scenes.
Right.
But to
well, because it doesn't say caution, this is a lie.
Yeah.
It doesn't say that. It's like, well, you're on the cover of the magazine.
Ooh.
So doesn't matter how you got there, you're there.
Ooh.
So
it's
just
right. What's up, YouTube? They it's on my mind, y'all, and y'all keep putting it in the comments also, man. I can't believe. As soon as I see it in the comment, I'll be like, man, they keep, they like this job. I think this is the #1 hit on the album right here, man. Hey. This joint go. Check it.
I can't believe Diddy locked in a cell. Tunnels under his house and he can't make bail. Neighbors scared stiff, won't retrieve they ball. If it bounce over Diddy gate, they don't call. Ain't no doorbell ringing, ain't no fence climbing. They say the devil dance quiet when the stars are lining. Talk in the street about basements with screams, where the silence too loud and the truth still bleed. Lawyer walks off, said the case too thick. Even his mama on IV drip sick, trying to detox demon while praying on lies. But you can't cleanse blood when it drips from the sky.
Lawyers will argue today that Sean Combs deserves some special treatment. They're hoping to get him out from behind bars as quickly as possible. This morning, the case against Sean Combs returns to court following the split verdict.
I can't believe I saw the twins in the pews, eyes wide shut, trying to dodge daddy's snooze. Courtroom silence when they walking slow. I felt the shame hit the floor like a soul on the go. They say he comfy now. Sheets folded neat, other inmates doing favors just to eat. He's still moving like a mobile with a plan. But God don't blink, the karma hits like a fan. Cases dropping daily, names ain't redacted. One brave soul said, nah, I ain't masking. I'm not anonymous, I'm proud with the pen. Said you're gonna remember this truth again and again.
We are just getting started. We're going to win, and we're not going to stop until he walks out of prison, a free man to his family. The defense argues there are exceptional circumstances.
I can't believe Diddy was found not guilty, but the vibe in the room still felt filthy. Face to face, I ain't flinch or shake. I told him what you did to that girl was a damn disgrace. I can't believe Diddy was found not guilty, but the vibe in the room still felt filthy. Face to face, I ain't flinch or shake. I told him what you did to that girl was a damn disgrace. I can't believe.
I don't care what anybody say. If you, especially hip hop, rap, you may not even like rap, but that song was professionally put together. That's right, I'm bragging. For the haters. Ooh, Lordy. I know, he's like, dang, he barely danced. The song ain't even 2 minutes long. Oh, Lord have mercy. I swear when I get back from the Philippines, when I get to the Philippines, I got to start working on some cardio, man. I'm done. I feel like getting back in the bed right now. Whew. Okay, former Pussycat doll exposes R. Kelly and Diddy. Leaks new freak off video. Oh my God, ain't nobody gonna show no video, especially on YouTube. So you might as well cut that. I can't believe. Sound just like the record, don't it? I can't believe. Sound just like, damn, he sounds just like the record. Maybe because it's his record. Thank y'all, man. Thank everybody who support. Thank everybody who bought the album and all that good stuff, man. I appreciate it, man. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. Hey, let's check it out. Here we go, y'all.
You each link and you in bondage yourself. I think when I initially auditioned for R. Kelly, I was so nervous because I wanted to impress him. I knew he was the best writer and producer in the business. He was working with Michael Jackson at the time. Damn. I was under R. Kelly, who did not mess with me. And he was considered the worst of the worst, right? He's in prison still.
A lot of stuff Diddy has been indicted on is terrible stuff, right? Heinous things.
Yep.
And you've been talking about him before everybody else was.
I did.
And did they listen or?
Nobody listened.
Okay.
Nobody listens.
When former Pussycat doll Kaia Jones sat down with Lecrae, she didn't hold anything back. What started as a casual talk turned into a shocking look inside the dark side of the music industry, an industry she says was full of manipulation, control, and spiritual warfare, hiding behind fame and glamour. Kaia revealed that before she ever joined the Pussycat Dolls, she was discovered by R. Kelly at just 12 years old. "He's the one who signed me," she explained. But that early start came with heavy pressure. Kaia described her studio days as long and exhausting, working from noon until past midnight, recording the same lines over and over again.
You interacted with R. Kelly
Yes.
as a young girl.
Yes.
Any weirdness?
Nothing.
Okay.
That's what's even crazier.
Wow.
Is that when I hear all of this, I was like, Robert? That's interesting.
Yeah.
So immediately I wondered, was he the scapegoat for other people? Why did this happen to him? But you can't ask those questions.
Yeah.
And definitely at my age, you couldn't ask that question at the time. I was a young girl. I was like 15, and Aaliyah. So like the chain of events. So I get signed to Robert and it was drill sergeant. It was pick me up at 12 noon by a car. I was then taken to the studio. I'm tracking the entire day until 2 a.m. I mean, he had me do, because back then we didn't do chopping or cutting vocals.
Yeah.
There was no auto tune. There was no auto
Cut and
correct.
paste.
It was tape. So if you started bad and it went off midway, again. And it was like, I remember we did one song 111 times till my throat actually was bleeding on my pillow the following morning because I was singing from my throat and not from my diaphragm. And so that's my encounter with Robert was like drill sergeant. Drill sergeant, take it seriously, no joke. There was no, I mean, I never even saw the man smile. He was so stern.
You saw
with
the
me.
workhorse side.
Oh my
of him.
gosh, he was so, yes. Like he had me doing jumping jacks in between a song because he wanted me to be ready to like push. And I was thinking, like, I came back to the mic and I was like out of breath. And he was like, that's not what I'm expecting. I'm expecting you to sing, like push. And I was like, I did not understand. And I would actually go into the bathroom and cry. So he had a thing where he was like, don't let her go into the bathroom because she's going to go cry. And he was very, very serious. So then I picked up smoking because it was the only thing the guys in the room would allow me to go outside and do to take a break because they smoked too. So they'd be like, oh yeah, we can go for a smoke break. So then that's how that demon came into my life was, well, I can smoke cigarettes to get a breather. I was 12, 13, 14. Okay?
You are in it. You are in it.
In it. And then I became a scotch drinker at that age because if I drank that, I was more like a boy and less like a girl, and they saw me more like a friend or like a little sister. So I always dressed jeans and a t-shirt like I'm not available.
To cope,
Damn. You see what happens when you try your best to fit in and you try too hard to I gave up. Think about it. I could not fit in and I gave up trying to fit in because they wasn't going to let me fit in. I'm thinking no, people don't change their mind like I change, because I don't change my mind too often. So I'm thinking, no, I can't be a friend. So that's the answer. No, I'm not going to do all this stuff to make you change your mind to try to fit in. I don't fit in, so why try? That's where I probably developed that. So I don't care. I don't give a damn. All you doing is embarrassing yourself, embarrassing your mama. Because your mama should have told you, if you don't have nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all.
A friend or like a little sister.
That's
so
crazy.
I always dressed jeans and a t-shirt
to be accepted.
I'm not available.
To cope with the nonstop pressure, Kaia said she started picking up bad habits just to find space to breathe. The only way I could step outside was to say I needed a break, she admitted. It was the first step into what she called a spiritual trap, and her success started to become a chain instead of a blessing.
But there were crazy things. They would put stripper poles into the recording studio because such and such artist needed to be inspired. They would bring dancers and all that kind of stuff. I was open to
You're
seeing.
15.
Less than that, I was 14.
14, just
yep.
drinking scotch, smoking cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
Are you enamored? Are you like, wow, this is the music industry? Or it's just another day? Like, what do you process?
I think when I initially auditioned for R. Kelly, I was so nervous because I wanted to impress him. I knew he was the best writer and producer in the business. He was working with Michael Jackson at the time for the Invincible album. He had just written I'm Your Angel for Celine Dion. He had created the Aaliyah movement of that incredible artist, and it was kind of established. He had done Destiny's Child. It was like he was the bee's knees of production.
Okay.
So when I walked in that day to audition, I was really nervous, actually, and I was enamored for sure. There was the plaques of Everything Everywhere of everyone you grew up listening to. And I remember he was sitting, and it was like he was like a king with like grapes and yeah, seriously. And he had his bandana, his white shirt, and his chains. And it was just like this big room with a piano. And he just sat, and it was like dim amber lighting. And he was like, sing. Literally, that's how it was. And I remember I stood up and I sang Amazing Grace. I sang I Will Survive. And I sat down, and he was like, when you come to an audition, you want to show. And I knew at that point it was over. Like I had lost the job or the opportunity. He says, because he's like, you want to show, meaning like I did not do what I was supposed to do. What you can do. And I just stood up and I said, I can sing Celine. And he was like, do Celine. And I knew at that point, like I could and I should, and he would know her voice because he produced her. So then I sang I'm Your Angel, and he signed me on the spot. And that's how I got signed. So I was enamored in that moment, but then it became a routine after years being under his tutelage. You understand, like, this is a routine, and it kind of falls away the excitement. You're around, Bow Wow and all of these artists and his performances, and, you're around all of these mega talents, and then Aaliyah dies. And that's when everything was like, it got really real really quickly. Aaliyah's plane went down, and everyone was worried because we didn't know where Rob was. And in fact, he was found by the maid. I've never shared any of this. He was found by the maid in his closet, completely dehydrated and passed out. He took it really hard. Really hard. He loved her very much.
And keeping with what we know about Diddy and R. Kelly, she said she witnessed things in the studio that no young performer should ever see. Environments filled with adult behavior and blurred boundaries, all excused as part of the creative process. Witnessed things in the studio that...
Don't it look like Diddy is laying on his shoulder like a kid hugging, I don't know, his mama or a kid or a girl? It looked like it. Everything looks different now. Everything looks different. It seems like, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too deep into it, but he looked like he ready to go to bed with the boy or something. I don't know.
He took it really hard.
Not bad.
Really hard. He loved her very much.
And keeping with what we know about Diddy and R. Kelly, she said she witnessed things in the studio that no young performer should ever see. Environments filled with adult behavior and blurred boundaries, all excused as part of the creative process.
Keep in mind, you're going to be a group, and this is how it's going to work. And then there are individuals in the group who are like, well, I want to go further, or I want more of star fame, or I want a solo deal. So they're willing to do certain things to get further. And you start to realize if you're not going to do those things, you're not going to get very far.
Yeah.
And I was just not willing to do those things.
Is that because of your spiritual upbringing, your just morals, or just your wiring? Like, what was it that made you say?
I mean, I was still out there. Like, out there in the aspect of living in sin, I was still dating artists, having, a forced abortion. Like, these kinds of things were happening. I was still not a perfect person by any means, but I knew that sleeping with executives was a death sentence.
Okay.
Like,
you didn't want to shackle yourself.
Well, because those men can literally make or break whether or not you sing. And people are like, well, what happened to this one? well, if she slept with the wrong person in this business, and I knew that from being around the serious men with R. Kelly, that you don't do that. Because if you do that, like the girls are known.
Yeah.
And they're known as like pro-hoes. And it's horrible to say this, but this is how the institution views them. And so I would hear those jokes and comments and at 12, 13, 14 years old. So here I am and I'm being propositioned. I'm like, no. And so as much as I was dating artists or people in the industry, I was not willing to sleep with executives to help my career. And that was, well, then you're only going to get so far.
She remembered one heartbreaking moment, performing on stage and revealing clothes while she was still recovering from personal loss, only to see two young girls in the audience looking up to her.
By the way, like while I was losing my child and Patti LaBelle is like singing on stage and this is Divas Live and I'm like coming through the audience and I'm at like the top of the row in, MGM Garden in Las Vegas, which is 25,000 in auditorium going out to 33 million people on VH1 and MTV. And I was told before I walked out, mind you, I'm in tiny little skirt, tiny little shirt, and I was still bleeding from losing my child the day before. And I had hemorrhaged and I couldn't stop bleeding. And there's these two little girls in the front row, and one was like 3 or 4, and the other one was like 7 or 8, 6 or 7, something like that. And she just looked at the little one and said, "Oh, Mama, she's a Pussycat doll." And that was like a check in my spirit, like, you can't do this. You really can't do this because you're losing your baby and you're selling this to kids. And she doesn't see what I am going through. She doesn't know anything that, that one has bulimia, that one's doing cocaine. I'm aborting my children. I mean, we're pretty disgusting.
Life is crumbling behind the scenes.
Right.
But
well, because it doesn't say caution, this is a lie.
Yeah.
It doesn't say that. It's like, well, you're on the cover of the magazine. Ooh. So doesn't matter how you got there, you're there.
Ooh.
So
right.
It's just.
Right. See, I didn't know. I swear when I was on my hands and knees begging, trying to get in, I wonder, is there a sign on me and some of my friends and people that I know are more talented than me, and they didn't get in? I got a buddy of mine that's a keyboard player, man, and he is awesome. I was like, God dang, you can't get no record deal? This is what helped. This is what makes me, I used to always measure people's talent. This person is way more talented than me. This person is way more talented than me. The whole band, we had 9 band members. And I felt as though 9 band members, I was the worst one or second to the worst one as far as talent. Yeah, that's what I thought. So if I was half wrong, that means there's 4 other people that was more talented than me, right? And they didn't make it in music. So I know I'm not going to be able to make it. The thoughts that you hold in your mind, if you're right or wrong, you're right because the thoughts that you hold, even though you're wrong, you can change the thoughts that's in your mind. Come find out, it ain't got nothing to do with talent. It got more to do with how much bullshit you're going to put up with. It got a lot to do with how much you're going to put up with. Here we go, baby.
Caution, this is a lie.
Yeah.
It doesn't say that. It's like, well, you're on the cover of the magazine. Ooh. So doesn't matter how you got there, you're there.
Doesn't matter, you're there.
So it's just this illusion.
Yeah.
And what I was being told behind the scenes by the owner of the dolls was how fat I was.
Kaia also spoke about how she'd been warning people for years about powerful figures like Diddy, long before the recent scandals. Nobody listened, she said. It was more important to protect people in power. Her story didn't start easy, growing up with family struggles and painful experiences at a young age, but she said those early wounds made her aware of how darkness operates.
And I remember in my head, I was like, I've got to figure out how to get out. I got to figure out how to get the whole performance. I look back at that performance, it's crazy because I just totally faked it.
Yeah.
The whole time I was just like, I got to figure out how to get out. I got to figure out how to get out because I'm signed to some really scary people.
Kaia Jones once said that people thought she was living every girl's dream: fame, glamour, and a spot in one of the biggest pop groups in the world. But behind the smiles and choreography, her reality was nothing like what people saw on stage. She wasn't just part of a group. She was caught in a system that controlled every move she made. She described it as being in an environment where your worth depends on how well you obey orders. You're told what to say, what to wear, who to associate with, even who to pretend to like.
Dang, you go from that. You see that look, y'all? You go from that to this. This is terrible. I hate to say it, man, but that dress, you don't have a PR person. My bad. That's my bad, man. I'm just telling you, I would have been like, you got to put on a better dress than that. Being
in an environment where your worth depends on how well you obey orders. You're told what to say, what to wear, who to associate with, even who to pretend to like. Every friendship, every public appearance, every word in an interview, all pre-approved, all scripted. And if you ever step out of line, you're reminded who really owns your career.
That was the beginning of them kind of seeing, okay, there was someone in her corner. So I then felt stronger.
You had leverage.
Right. To then start to, just not comply as much.
Yeah.
Until eventually, just saying I want out. And then them offering me a solo deal. But still to be owned by the dolls. And I was like, oh no, I'm not demoing for this. I'm not demoing for their next album and then album after that. That ain't happening. Because we were paid $500 a week. I kept my paycheck stubs because people did not believe what I have said. And I have receipts because I refuse to be called a liar. I kept a journal of what I went through. I wanted to document it because it was so grotesque and brutal. That if anything ever happened to me, there was proof of why it could have been and what could have caused it. So I kept everything. But we were paid $500 a week. We were the #1 girl band in the world. I've never seen a single dime of any of my royalties. And my voice was on that first album. And I never got credit for it because I had to finish that album and then walk away and watch my friends ascend, never saying bye to the girls and knowing that I would never get credit. That was hard. That was really, really hard.
Kaia said the industry has a way of dressing up control and calling it opportunity. It dangles fame in front of you like a prize, but keeps you too broke, too afraid, or too dependent to ever walk away. If you complain, they label you ungrateful. If you stay quiet, they reward your silence, and soon you don't even recognize yourself. You're just a brand, a product, not a person anymore. And more than that, you are a messenger of the agenda that the elite want to push.
I saw you tweeted out that Hollywood elites are pushing addictions, eating disorders on young women in the industry. So I wanted to ask you to elaborate a little bit more on that. Why do you think Hollywood elites are doing that, and how are they doing that?
Well, I think, I don't just think, I know personally with people that I have been in business with that have been affected by it and have been asked to do things that they don't want to do. And so that's how I know. I know from my own journey through this business of witnessing things that are just unacceptable. And we're used as artists to curate young minds. We know that. For me, I had to make that choice really early, especially with the Pussycat Dolls, because I was just turned 18 years old, so it was definitely something that I felt that I wasn't normal when I said I wasn't okay with what was going on. And it wasn't in front of the camera. I was okay with being a sexy, powerful young girl, like a Spice Girl, if you will, which was my growing up. They were my idol. And I had this like crazy, wacky moment, where I was performing at MGM Grand Garden Arena in Vegas, and it was for Divas Live, and Patti LaBelle's wailing, and we're going on after Patti LaBelle, and there was these two little girls in the front row, and I was coming through the audience, only me and one other girl. The rest of them were coming up on a riser. And there were two little girls, and one was like 4 years old, and she went, oh, she's a Pussycat Doll. She was so excited to to see us, and that was her reaction to me. And I just knew in that moment I couldn't do it, because this isn't what I would want any little girl to be. What was being pushed on us and what I was going through at that moment in time, and what we had just endured backstage. And so it was a lot of the back end that I wasn't okay with.
She compared it to what Britney Spears once spoke about, feeling like a cash cow, a puppet in a business where you're used until there's nothing left. The pressure is constant. The fear of being replaced keeps everyone compliant. You start believing that this suffering is the price of success. And worst of all, if you're a woman working for men who see you as disposable pieces of meat, you are truly in hell on earth.
You said you weren't in a girl group, you were in a prostitution ring.
Yep.
And you just so happened to sing and be famous. Like,
it's the easiest way to make it as clear as possible. Britney Spears has talked about how it felt like she was trafficked. I mean, that's a very similar word to prostitution.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
We feel as though we're being like a cash cow, used, told what to do, what to say, what to think. Correct. Who to date, who to not date, who's your friend, who's not your friend, to the point where there's nothing organic anymore. There is no being led by the spirit. It's all already contrived for you. So, and then you're not paid very much because you can't leave. If you don't have enough money, then where are you going to run to? Where are you running to? You're going to give up your dream? I mean, this is your dream, right? Here's the carrot. Right. Here's your dream. And so it's almost impossible to get out. So when I see artists that are there, I'm like, God, make a way so they can get out.
So you were saying no one would believe you if you were saying like there's this demonic stuff happening here. They wouldn't believe you.
No.
And it's interesting, right? Because like you fast forward and it's social commentary about this stuff all the time. Like even I think of like
yes, it is.
I think of like like a lot of stuff Diddy has been indicted on is terrible stuff, right? And heinous things.
Yep.
And you've been talking about him before everybody else was.
I did.
And did they listen or?
Nobody listened.
Okay.
Nobody listens. I was telling everybody that I was going through stuff. When I left the dolls, I remember telling a reporter at Hollywood Reporter what I went through. Did it ever come out? Did anyone ever hear it? No. It was more important to protect people in power and positions. And my God is greater than all of you men.
She told reporters the truth about what she endured, the emotional manipulation, the false promises, the coercion, but her story was buried. The machine protects its own. Powerful people stayed protected while she was dismissed as bitter or crazy. And this is not the first time Kaia has tried to speak up about something. In 2017, she spoke publicly about the abuse and harassment she says she endured during her time in the industry.
Kaia, thank you for taking some time to speak with me after the panel.
Yes,
appreciate
thank you
it.
for having me.
So, during the panel, you touched upon...
You know what's so funny, man? The older she gets, the more... I mean, I'm not talking about her looks, because she was so perfectly beautiful, that look that everybody's looking for. The older she get, look at her nose, look at her ears. Lord have mercy. Look like a different person to me.
On a few times the issue of sexuality in Hollywood and how it's impacting the kind of content we're seeing on the screen. Could you elaborate a little bit on why that is the case in Hollywood based on your experience?
It's evil. It's really just plain good and bad. You're dealing with a society right now which is just moral compass good versus bad. And it's to a point where if you're not willing to give something up, and that's why you see all of these very feminist women, which to me they're not feminists because they're not, championing for me as a woman. But they're saying, kill babies, it's great. Like, what? These are the things that are being said to women. And so if you're constantly submerged in that filth of a mindset, that's what you're going to see. And that's what you're seeing in our culture coming from Hollywood. And it's sad.
Kaia, who was part of the group between 2003 and 2005, described one particular incident that she says still haunts her. As just one example, a record executive asked me to get into his car, and I accepted. We were in Las Vegas, and we were all racing to get to the airport to take us back to LA after the show, she told the Daily Mail. It was just a 10-minute ride. I remember getting in the back seat of the limo with him, and within seconds, he jumped on me. I literally had to fight him off all the way to the airport. She was only 19 or 20 years old at the time, while the executive, she said, was in his 50s.
The Me Too movement, looking at that, do you think that has been beneficial?
No.
For Hollywood or for the country?
No, I think it was when it started. Had they not weaponized it for the political arena, it was working to talk about what women go through in the industry, what men go through in the industry. Men are pushed all the time to go the gay route. Okay, so that's a very real thing.
Damn. Ain't nobody push me because they know good and well what that answer was going to be. That's going to be one hell of a pushback. Excuse me, y'all. God damn. Woosah, I'm sorry. Here we go, y'all. Here we go. My bad.
It's a very real thing. Pedophilia is a very real thing that goes on in the industry. Young girls go the gay route. Okay, so that's a very real thing. That's a very real thing. Pedophilia is a very real thing that goes on in the industry. Young girls being pushed to do things they don't want to do is very real in the industry. This has been discussed for so long. I don't think we're talking about it being real anymore. The problem is that then the Me Too movement decided to go, well, we came forward because of President Trump. You know, he had accusations on him. No, I think you came forward because you finally had a guy in power that was pulling, you know, the threads that were loose on all the issues in this country, and it gave you a voice to speak up. Then they decided to weaponize it, and the Kavanaugh hearing, that's where, as far as I'm concerned, you lost the movement because you weaponized it for political reasons.
You mentioned that there's a second wave coming.
There
not
is.
Just the Me Too. What makes you say that that's coming?
Because I know.
In terms of men.
Because I know.
What makes you say it? Because I know. She is fine, though. Don't get me wrong, boy. She's sexy as I don't know.
I know men that are coming forward. I know films that are being made discussing it. So I know a lot of men who have been abused in this industry, from they were kids in this industry to they were young adults and had to do things they didn't want to do.
As the industry was rocked by the Harvey Weinstein scandal, Kaia took to Twitter, saying the revelations gave her the courage to speak out about what she'd endured during her own rise in the entertainment world. Since she spoke up, many people have come out with claims of the truth about people like R. Kelly and Diddy and what they've done to children in the industry. Most notable of these whistleblowers is Jaguar Wright.
Like you said, that's some deep thing. You know, that's deep. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you something right now. It's common. It is common.
That's crazy. So how are these people able to keep going on with the career?
What do you mean?
Doing these heinous crimes.
What do you mean?
Like, I'm just saying.
You ain't never had a boy that you know did a whole bunch of dirt and you let him make it? You telling me that never happened? You never had somebody in your life who you know was dirty, who you know did dirt, and you let him make it?
I see what you're saying, but
think about that on a corporate level.
Right.
On a corporate level.
That's facts, man. That's facts. That bring a whole new meaning to see something, say something. If you got a friend or family member and you know they doing wrong, can you imagine how many people I know good and well that boy ain't got no job. He always down there in that basement for long periods of time. He come back with all these little baggy bags. But I don't say nothing. That's not gonna work, yeah.
R. Kelly was the first corporately sponsored pedophile in the United States.
That's crazy.
Everybody knew. That's why I couldn't really watch that documentary, because half of the people that was in there, I can't believe he did it. You used to go get the bitch too. I watched you, dog. I watched y'all make these deals. Don't nobody want to talk about Aaliyah. Because a predator is a predator. They don't care about their punishment. They just want to get their fix in, see? Like, I know drug addicts who rob drug dealers knowing they're going to come back and hurt them and hit them and shoot them and not care because the drugs are so good and they so numb, they just going to take that beating. They done already got what they wanted.
See what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing that dummies don't realize, right? Imagine Cassie and the other girls that's on these drugs, especially if it's, I don't know. The only thing I know about is a little bit of weed. But imagine horse tranquilizers and pills and whatever the heck they doing. But they need that fix. Them drugs that make you, you know what I'm saying? You start doing stuff like, you know what I'm saying? You need that drug. So you're going to do anything. You're going to suck somebody off. You're going to give up the behind because you've been on them drugs. You just want your fix so everything can feel normal. You sick, bruh. You are sick. When I say you sick, I don't mean that you thinking sick. You sick and you need some professional help to get off these drugs. And y'all dummies that's pointing the finger, you're the problem. You are the problem. There is so many, we look through your life with a fine comb, there's so many people you know doing something you had no business, but you turn your back. You seen somebody stealing from your job. Why are you letting this person steal from the job? Shoot, this ain't my stuff. When you see wrong, it should be everybody's job to turn people in, maybe. We need to change something. Something needs to change. Something needs to change, man. And y'all...
And not care because the drugs are so good and they so numb, they just gonna take that beating.
Think about that. Let her say this one more time, man. Watch this.
They don't care about their punishment. They just want to get their fix in, see? Yeah. Like, I know drug addicts who rob drug dealers knowing they're going to come back and hurt them and hit them and shoot them and not care because the drugs are so good and they so numb, they just going to take that beating. They done already got what they wanted. It's an addiction.
Addiction.
They made again, we just spoke on it last time, they made a whole song, called Uncle Chester, Mama, Please Don't Leave, because Chester's going to put his hands on me.
Yeah.
Do you feel like society is still turning a blind eye?
Of course they are. They're still letting their children watch TV. If society really gave a shit, they would turn off the televisions. They would take away the phones. Their children's minds, they are being groomed around the clock.
Now you really have to wonder, every woman who worked with these people seems to have a terrible experience to talk about. How long is it before we see some truly big names taken to court, especially now that a precedent has been set with Diddy? Let us know in the comments.
I'm letting y'all know, man, everybody think that they got the answer on, well, they should did this, they should have did this. Nah, dog. That ain't what's gonna happen, man. What's gonna happen is we gotta change some rules from up top in order to get this Me Too movement. Come on, man. All you can do is open up your mouth. This is what Uncle Mike would train people to do. I opened up my mouth. I told the right people and nobody did anything. Now I got to take matters into my own hand. I'm sorry, man. That's how it works. It worked at all the jobs I was at. I had problems at the job. I went all the way up and asked the supervisors and the bosses, what is your supervisor name? What is his boss? I went all the way up the chain. I talked to the PM and I told the PM, I done went all the way up the chain. You know that y'all giving us guns. Y'all handing out guns like it's candy. This is what I told the PM. You giving us guns on this job, right? And we have a serious problem between two people, right? And we want to end up on the news. Is that what we want? Because I'm going to get my stuff back. This man stole from me. I turned him in. I did everything I can. The next time I see him, there's going to be blood until I get my stuff back. I hate to say it, but like Incredible Hulk, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. And it ain't a lot of talking, man. I don't do a lot of talking. I feel sorry for these people that went through this stuff, man. I didn't know. If Uncle Mike would have known, I would have been the first one talking. I'd have been speaking up. I would have been a Jaguar right 30 years ago, bruh. Hey, y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell him Uncle Mike told you so. Shh. Peace out.